Here's an American Family News update for you. I'm Bronson Woodruff. Donald Trump has won the 2024 presidential election, a victory no doubt helped by voter anxiety over the economy and border security. Anxiety about inflation was high nationally, and voters broadly believe that Trump would be better equipped than Harris to handle the economy and jobs. The key swing states of Pennsylvania and Wisconsin largely mirrored the mood of the nation. The share of voters who said their family's financial situation was falling behind rose to about 3 in 10, up from roughly 2 in 10 in the last presidential election. Many voters were still reeling from inflation that spiked to a 4-decade high in June of 22. About 9 in 10 voters were very or somewhat concerned about the cost of groceries, and about 8 in 10 were concerned about their health care costs, their housing costs, or the cost of gas. Trump picked up a small but significant share of younger voters, black voters, and Hispanic voters, many of whom were feeling down about the economy. Majorities of younger black voters and Latino voters said the economy is not working well. The economy carried more prominence than in the 2020 election, including for these groups. 4 years ago, COVID-19 and racism were important issues for black and Latino voters, but this time they were more focused on the economy, and Trump managed to make inroads with both groups, even as the majority stayed with Harris. Among voters under 30, slightly less than half went for Trump, an improvement from his 2020 performance. About 3/4 of young voters said the country was headed in the wrong direction, and roughly 1/3 said they wanted complete and total upheaval to how the country is run. There was also a divide between young men and women on which candidate they backed. About 6 in 10 women between the ages of 18 and 29 voted for Harris, and more than half of men in that age group backed Trump. About 4 in 10 voters said that immigrants living in the U.S. illegally should be deported to the country they came from, up from about 3 in 10 in 2020. And while most voters said that immigrants living in the U.S. illegally should be offered a chance to apply for legal status, that was down from 2020. Democrat Harris urged unity in a concession speech today following her defeat to Trump. Harris told supporters gathered at Howard University that she had lost her race against Trump, conceding to the Republican president who is now empowered by a sweeping mandate. Harris said, quote, "The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say the light of America's promise will always burn bright, as long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting." In her speech, Harris said she would continue to fight for her campaign themes, which included unfettered abortion rights. Earlier in the day, both she and President Biden phoned President-elect Donald Trump to congratulate him on his significant victory. In his phone call to Trump, we're told that Biden invited Trump to the White House to discuss the transition. That's all for this AFN News Update. Much more news from a Christian perspective is available on afn.net. I'm Bronson Woodruff.